Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, after spending 2 nights in Valdez, Alaska, we will leave Valdez and travel from this ocean port city into the mountains and then further inland. If you travel along with us, you will see how the landscape changes along the way. However, before we leave Valdez, we are traveling to the other side of this ocean inlet in Valdez and check out the fish hatchery and some wildlife such as the sea lions that are still out and about. Here's a quick map. Valdez left, up north Gacona, upper right corner, so you have a little bit of an idea approximately where we are traveling and for how long on this day 14. We are now on the other side of this ocean inlet, so opposite of Valdez. Some of the buildings you may see on the opposing shorelines would be Valdez. It is still relatively early in the morning, and as you can see on this side of the ocean inlet, we are still in the shadows of the mountains, as the sun is relatively low in the sky and does not make it over the mountain peaks yet. That of course also means it's a bit frosty, with temperatures right now around the freezing mark. Here I tried to zoom in and take a little video of an eagle, but he was a little bit too far away and my camera didn't quite have the capability to pull it in properly. We now arrived at the Solomon Gulch Hatchery in Valdez, and while we check out this area for a bit, we do need to be mindful of wildlife that perhaps is also out and about, especially the bears. I will also talk a little bit about the fish hatchery and provide you a little bit of info about salmons and this hatchery as well. What you see here of course are not salmon, but they do like to eat salmon. These are sea lions, and I will talk a bit more about them in a few minutes, especially what the difference is between a sea lion and a seal. This one here just surfaced out of the water, and here is a stream that runs down into the ocean inlet. That's also where some of the salmons will be hatching as well, or spawning I should say. Now here I have a concerned onlooker wondering what I want, and I guess he's giving me the dirty eye and says, hey, stay away from my fish, this is my fish, so just stay back and we will get along just fine. Now let me get back to the salmons. There are 5 different species of wild Pacific salmon in North American waters. They are the Chinook, Chum, Coho, Sockeye and pink salmon. There are 2 more Pacific salmon species, but they are only found in Asia. Salmons have a life cycle, and what I mean by that is they hatch, then go to sea, and eventually return to spawn again into the location they hatched. The pink salmon is the smallest of the 5 salmon species, with an average weight of 3 to 5 pounds. However, in Alaska you can find them weighing up to 7 pounds. Here I just missed a salmon jumping out, so let's hang on for a while and try to be patient, and with a little bit of luck there perhaps is another one. And here we go, in slow motion, patience paid off. The Coho salmon, which is the other salmon of the 2 species, hatched and raised at the Solomon Gulch Hatchery in Valdez, has an average weight of 8 pounds, but it can easily reach up to 20 pounds. Now we're heading over to the fish ladder, and you may wonder, what is a fish ladder? Well, the fish ladder is a series of steps and resting pools designed to move the returning salmon into the fish hatchery, so they can be spawned and the eggs can then be placed into incubation. Now, these sounds you hear here are actually from the sea lions, and here again they're hanging out at the fish ladder waiting for a salmon and a little bit of a morning snack. But getting back to the fish hatchery here, the returning salmons have now fully matured and are called broodstock. A fish ladder apparently is the most efficient and cost-effective way of moving fish. Now this one has been waiting for a while and looks like they're getting a little sleepy. It does use the salmon's natural instincts as well to swim upstream in these fish ladders, and it does not hurt the fish. Here again you hear all the grunting from the sea lions. During the spawning season, this ladder will lift approximately 20,000 fish into the hatchery for spawning, and that's per day. And in order to fill all the incubators at the hatchery, it requires about 400,000 pink salmons. Most, but not all, returning salmons make it into the hatchery, while others just spawn into the wild streams. However, as you can imagine, this also attracts a lot of wildlife such as bears, sea lions, seals, eagles and others to these fish ladders for lunch, which is kind of a like all-you-can-eat fish buffet for them. Well, we could easily keep hanging around this place for much longer, but it is time to move on and travel a few miles today. And while we do so, I will talk a bit more about the sea lions we just seen, and also seals, and what the difference is. So next time you see one, it may help you to figure out what you're looking at. Is it a sea lion or is it a seal? So here we go. Without getting too much into details, the differences are sea lions are normally brown in color, whereas a seal, I should say, is more a bit gray. Sea lions also bark loudly, as you just heard, and they walk, while I use the word walking very loosely, on land using their large flippers and have visible ear flaps. Seals have small flippers, wiggle on their bellies on land and lack visible ear flaps. Seals are quieter, vocalizing normally in soft grunts. As I already said, seals are generally smaller, more aquadynamic than sea lions. At the same time, their hind flippers angle backwards and don't rotate. This makes them fast in the water, but basically become belly crawlers on land. Sea lions, on the other hand, are able to walk on land by rotating their hind flippers forward underneath their big bodies. Of course, when I say walking again, well, that's kind of, sort of. Anyways, we are moving on from the ocean towards the Chugach mountain range. It'll be a shorter drive today, as it's almost noon already, but you will see how the landscapes changes from ocean to mountains and then further inland Alaska. Right now we are driving up the Thompson Pass, and the poles you see left and right of the highway are markings, as this area gets a lot of snow. If you keep following our channel, you may recall seeing some of this area already as we travel through Valdez. If you want to see that video, I think it is day 12 Alaska trip, aka Little Switzerland. As we reach the top of Thompson Pass in the meantime, this is a gap into Chugach Mountains to get inland from the coast city of Valdez. The pass is about 2,600 feet or 855 meters above sea level, and this area again is often referred to as Little Switzerland. The weather station that is located at this pass is the snowiest one in Alaska, with an average snowfall of 500 inches or about 13 meters. I think the record snowfall for Alaska at the Thompson Pass, that's this area, dates back to the early 50s with 974 inches or 29 meters of snowfall. That's the annual snowfall. That's a heck of a lot. This area of Alaska, especially Valdez, is a bit milder than, let's say, Fairbanks. When we left Fairbanks about 8 days ago, most trees already had no leaves left, especially in parts of the Denali Park. However, the flip side, in this region and in the mountains, you receive a massive amount of snow. At this point of the drive, you can see some really nice yellow fall corings, but I expect it to get a bit colder the further away from the ocean we get and travel further inland. As we keep traveling further inland, and as it is getting already a bit later in the day, with us hanging out at the Valdez fish hatchery until around noon, we slowly need to give it some thoughts where home will be for tonight. Like most days traveling, we don't know in advance where home is going to be for tonight. We have an idea how far we want to travel for the day, and then depending how the day progresses, we start to slowly narrow things down and find a place as the day goes on. 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . long straight road as far as you can see, with some mountains in the distances, but we are getting much further inland. As you can see, the landscape changed quite drastically already. Well, I think we found a place for tonight, so let's go and find someone to talk to and find out. Well, some good news. This is the Grizzly Lake Campground, and it is going to be home for tonight. And that is located on the Alaska 1 Tuk Cutoff Highway. So, before we settle down for the night, let me show you around a little bit. It is actually the last day or night, I guess, they are open, as in the morning they officially close for the season. Apparently it is a mild fall this year, as in other years they already had snow on the ground, and therefore they were already closed at this time of year. By the way, if you wonder what time of year it is, I just realized it is September the 21st. Official start to fall, well, at least astronomically, as here it is pretty much winter already. We are currently just walking around and checking out a few more things, and while we do that, we hear a small little private plane taking off here in the distance. And we keep further walking around. The campground dog is joining us for an evening walk as well, before we settle in for tonight. Now, with almost no people left here, we had a selection of availability, so we chose a small log cabin for tonight. Now here we have an old abandoned fuel pump with a little holding tank. I would say probably late 60s to early 70s model. And here is the cabin we chose. It's pretty basic, but you know what? It has heat, there's a toilet and a small stove. So life is good. We are outside again, wandering around one more time a little bit to see a lot of neat things, such as this old wagon here. And when we turn the corner, there are old snowmobiles as well.
So that's small.
It's I think this used to be for horses at one point in time. And as we turn around, I even spot an old plane that is in storage. So let's walk over and check this out a little closer. Looks like pretty much more or less the same size that we just seen taking off, but this one looks like it's been in storage for some time. That's pretty neat, but I think it clearly needs a little bit of work to be made airworthy again. But I certainly didn't expect to stumble across that on a campground. Well, as it is getting late, let's head back to the cabin, but I will step out one more time, well actually a few more times, to get some night pictures, which you will see here right now. It was a cold night, well below freezing during the night, but we had a warm place, so all was good. I hope you enjoyed these few night pictures at the end of this video and enjoyed watching it. As always, it is much appreciated you tuning into our channel. You will see me again next week in another adventure, so until then, be safe and stay well.